I've been elected twice. I don't care about the repercussions. We need to send a strong message. We're sick and tired of the party breaking their own rules. I'm a Republican. I've been thinking seriously about going Libertarian, but I'm probably going to wait on that. It's time for a third party in this country. We have to say no to Romney, and I'd love to see Dr. Paul be on a ticket. We fought hard up here. I was glad to see Alaska be a state for Ron Paul, and even though the corruption we went through up here, Evan, it's still going. It's happening everywhere throughout the United States. This guy that just spoke, you're afraid of speaking up for what you believe in. Maybe you ought to just take the middle road. And but you know, the thing is, we have to send a message, and it's time for a third party in this country. We've tried to change the Republican Party. We can't do it. They did nothing. I lost my election on Tuesday, thanks to some of the corrupt bastards club here in Alaska. And you know what? But you know, I haven't lost faith in the system. I have lost my faith in the party, and I think it's time that Dr. Paul make a point to defeat Romney, and we need to teach him a lesson. That's all I have, Evan. And I want to thank you guys for going down there and putting up with that abuse down in Tampa. My hat's off to you. Thank you.
Yes, thanks to all of our national delegates for putting up with that, and thank you for those comments. The next one I have is 916. You are now unmuted. I see no name.
Hi, I'm Tina Mazzani in California. I'm a Republican. Hi, I've made it onto the Central Committee as one of the Liberty candidates. And before I bring up what I want to talk about, I want to talk to the gentleman that's concerned about party line voting. Republicans that only vote Republican, if you've already won the primaries to be the Republican person on the ticket, those Republicans are not going to switch over and vote Democrats. They're already party line voters. They might not like what's going on, but they won't cross the party line. The people that you need to be concerned with are your constituents that will be voting for you that cross party lines or are Ron Paul supporters. Those are the people that's going to win your seat. You shouldn't be concerned, because it's the only thing that will hurt you is if you fight what the Ron Paul movement's trying to do. Party liners won't cross the party line, period. So what I'd like to say is that in California in 2008, there was a big changeover of the Central Committee. 1/3 was switched over to the Liberty Group. This time around, we think we got 2/3. So the Liberty movement is moving along quite well. I've even gotten mad myself after seeing what happened in Florida and considered changing parties and realized that I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to give up. And essentially that's giving up.
Right.
But the thing that I wanted to mention was that you had given all the phone numbers for the Ron Paul camp, but you had not given the phone number for the Gary Johnson camp, for people to call Gary as well and ask him to please include Ron on his ticket or concede the presidency to Ron and think about accepting the VP position.
Yes, now if somebody would please post that information on the teleconference Facebook group while we're on the call. If you have those numbers for us to lobby the Libertarian Party, that would be great. If not, I'll find them out shortly and get them posted in the next day or two. And I appreciate your comments. Thank you very much. Our next person, it says Palmiato Christ.
Hi, this is actually Joseph Palmiato, her husband.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi, I'm just curious if you had seen the latest post on the Daily Paul from a gentleman by the name, I got to get back to it here. His name is Israel Anderson. He states that he had just recently tonight spoke with Doug Weed, and Doug Weed had informed him that after speaking with Dr. Paul that there was zero chance that he would run on the Libertarian ticket. Just I'd like to hear your comments on that.
Well, I have not heard that from Dr. Paul himself, and he seemed open to the idea when I talked to him. So I'm going to proceed with the hope that we can make this happen. And if he wasn't open today, then he may be open by the end of this week if we all do what I suggested, which is to lobby him and encourage everybody else to. Those are my comments on that. And I want to allow the next caller, but again, I can't scroll down until some of you who just spoke get off the line, and you can always call right back. But if you would do that favor, we could allow the next person. Actually, I can clear the queue. Okay, now whoever would like to talk, hit *6. I'm sorry, that's the only way I can get to the next callers. Okay, I have a Lanz Gabrielle Lanz.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, hi. I wanted to comment on the guy who was a local candidate running earlier. You know, you can still be a registered Republican and vote for somebody else. And that's kind of what this whole liberty movement is about, is supporting local candidates. And just because you don't support the Republican nominee does not mean you're not trying to actively help your local candidates or your local GOP, where we've all fought so hard to get into.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know, I understand his concern, but I don't think it's necessarily as big of an issue if you just reason it out with people. Specifically because, you know, they should be telling you why to vote for Romney besides the, you know, normal talking points of, oh, he's not Obama. And
something with more depth might be interesting.
Right. I wanted to touch on that, and I actually had one question. I keep on hearing of a Facebook event, and I have no idea what this Facebook event is. Could you just tell me where to look for that or what the name of it is?
Okay, well, that event was posted on in all the Alaskan Ron Paul groups, which are closed groups. They're members only for people in Alaska. And it was also posted on Lawyers for Ron Paul, and then it got spread all over the Internet. What I think that I will do is open up the, I will post this information on the Alaskans for Ron Paul Facebook page, which anybody can get to and see, and then you'll have a link to that way, and so that will be up shortly after this call. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Just search Alaskans for Ron Paul 2012. That's the name of the page. It's also the name of our
thank you.
But that's just for Alaskans. Okay. Thank you. And now I have a Kajuntachi. Cajun next.
Yeah, hi, this is Anthony Papillon in Oklahoma. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Anyway, this is Anthony Papillon. I'm in Oklahoma, and I'm a Libertarian. And I just kind of wanted to touch on two things, really. One is you were talking about really lobbying Dr. Paul to get him, you know, interested in maybe a third-party run. And I think one of the things that works really well, too, is to maybe generate some media excitement, you know, letters to the editor, that type thing, which I'm sure, you know, he's going to read, he's going to do metrics on that type thing. The other thing, too, is I think we need to really focus on hitting the Libertarian Party itself. I know a lot of people already know this, but the nominees in the party don't really choose their running mate. Like Gary Johnson didn't choose Judge Gray. The party actually does. And so ultimately I believe the party would have to choose his next running mate if Judge Gray were to step aside. So maybe it's really a good idea if we're doing a letter writing campaign. Let's say, you know, mention that you would like to see that happen, because I'm sure the party is going to start looking into, you know, what's the public opinion on that? How does the public feel about it? And, you know, email officials at the Libertarian National Committee, at the Libertarian Party, and tell them, you know, you would like to see, if Judge Gray's open to it, if he steps out, a Ron Paul, Gary Johnson ticket. And that's really all I have to say.
Okay, and if you can post in our Facebook event the information that we can use to lobby those people, that would be helpful. We'll gather it one way or another, but if you can help, that would be great, Cajun Techie.
Sure.
Oh, wait, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can go ahead.
No, that's fine. I just said I'll be posting some email addresses and phone numbers later tonight.
Okay, thank you so much. Now I have a Megget training.
Yeah, hi, this is David Gerson calling from Minnesota.
Hi, David.
Yeah, hi. First I want to say, Evan, that I stand behind you. I put my life savings of $50,000 on the line to set myself up for a 2014 run for Congress here in Minnesota. I ran in 2012 in the primary against John Klein, a rhino, to give us a chance for liberty in the 2nd Congressional District here in Minnesota and try to restore our Republican Party and restore the faith of the people here in Minnesota. And I want you and Dr. Paul to know that I will put online me getting kicked out of the party as well in 2014 and no longer being accepted to back him running, which really means that it's likely that Romney's going to lose. But it also means that the Republican Party can no longer discount us and can believe that they can continue in these ways and that we won't be heard. And it's important for everyone to stay involved in the Republican Party. As you said, the only chance we have in America with this two-party system is to reform this Republican Party. Yeah. And no one kicks a dead dog. And people need to know that we're alive and barking, and we're not going anywhere.
Yes.
So thank you very much, and I stand with you, and it will be posted on my election website.
Well, it's my honor to hear that. Thank you so much, and very good luck with all that. And keep working with us. Okay, now I have another number, 414. I'm unmuting you now.
Hi, I'm Nikki from Wisconsin.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi. Okay, I have a few questions. I don't know if you want me to just ask one at a time and you answer them one at a time, or ask them all at once.
It's better for my concentration. Let's try that.
Okay, one at a time.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, did Ron Paul say anything about having told people that he didn't think he would run a third party, independent party? Because I know a lot of Republicans kept trying to get assurances he wasn't going to do that, and then they just ramroded him and his delegates and everything. But
yes, no, I don't believe he's ever made any commitment about not running on any other party, and he's been asked that by the media multiple times. When I talked to him specifically about the idea of having one of the Libertarian candidates back out if he would be willing to take that place. And that's where he expressed his uncertainty, not because of the Libertarian Party at all, but because of his concerns about whether or not he has the support, whether or not we could actually make any progress, and whether or not it might upset and ruffle progress that we've made within the Republican Party.
Okay.
So, what's your next question?
My next question is, I had heard that Gary Johnson had offered to step down if Ron Paul wanted to run as the presidential on the Libertarian ticket. And I personally think it would be much better for him to be the presidential one on there and then Gary Johnson the vice president. So should we be communicating that to Gary Johnson or the Libertarian Party instead of asking if he could be the VP?
Well, I think that we should communicate that they open themselves up to Ron Paul in whatever way that they're willing to be on that ticket. And the problem with having Gary Johnson step down, as somebody who is very familiar with the Libertarian Party rules explains, well, there's two problems. First of all, there are these, I forget what they're called, but there are rules in various states that try to penalize people who switch parties after they lose a primary. I guess they're called loser laws. But basically, they prohibit you running for the same exact position in those states. So in one sense, some of the states Ron Paul might be able to get less trouble for because VP is a different position than president. So that's one consideration, and I am not a lawyer and I'm not an expert on these things. Another consideration is that were Gary Johnson to step down, the natural chain of command would be for Mr. Gray to step up to the presidential position. That would be a natural order of succession. So to have a ticket with Paul on the top and Gary Johnson as the VP, that would require both Johnson and Gray withdrawing, Paul stepping up, getting accepted, and then Gary Johnson being accepted as VP. So that's two levels of problems. So it seems simpler to do Gary Johnson and Ron Paul, but like I said, I'm not an expert, so I think the most important thing is that we just lobby them to open up a position for him if he's willing to take it and communicate that clearly, and we lobby Ron Paul to please step up.
Well, definitely would carry much more momentum, obviously, if Ron Paul was president on there, that's for sure.
It would help the Libertarian cause tremendously because people would suddenly learn what they are. Yeah. And that would be wonderful.
I have two more questions. The other one was when you said that Ron Paul declared he was not a Republican anymore. Can you give us a little more background on that? I saw that briefly on the internet, but no explanation, no context, nothing.
Yeah, he did not declare that to me on the phone, so that was something that I saw on the internet as well, and I have not researched it enough. I was just corrected and told that that's probably not true, and that's a media distortion, which wouldn't surprise me, since they had many times said he was no longer running for office when he still was.
Right.
So,
And then
I'm going to let the next. Well,